All right, all right, all right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's book review. I hope our host is here. All right. Yes, our host is here. So, without further ado, I will invite to the virtual stage Miah. Thank you, Jemima Majari, for the applause. Miah, over to you. Can anyone hear me? Okay, yes. Jemima to the God. Miah, please, the stage is yours. Please, can you proceed?
Okay. Good morning, Tunde. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, so we'll be reviewing the book like we've been doing every Friday. I do not come to you by chance by Adaobi Tricia Nwaubani. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I had a few questions for conversation's sake that I wanted us to go through, but I'm finding a way around getting that to be. I would most likely share my screen soon. So, hi, morning, everybody. Morning. I'm sorry about that, Daddy Mike. I'm not Igbo, so I don't know how best to pronounce the name. I probably should have spent the night, learning the pronunciation. Children, don't disturb Daddy. Okay, so I'll just start with talking about the book from my end, and then I'll just open the floor for everybody to. But I got the Trisha now. I got the Trisha, Daddy Mike. Don't do that. I got that one. That's the one that I know I got. Adaobi Tricia. That one I know. It's the Nwaubani that I don't. Anyway, so I'll open the floor. I'll just talk about, how those particular chapters 8 and 9 were for me, and then I'll just open the floor for anybody else to speak, and then we'll just go through a few questions and thoughts, and then we'll be good. All right, so let me start by saying that personally, it was traumatic to thank you, Mike. It was a bit traumatic for me to go through the stress that it was like I was in the book. It was like I was in the book with King and his family, from seeing his dad slump or whatever happened to him, to reading that he was on the floor, to the panic that happened. I've never really experienced that before, but I remember there was a time that when I was in school. My mom called me literally, and she was literally shaking, like legit. And she was talking about how that, Popsy, one thing, they had to quickly get to the hospital and all. It was quite a drama. I was in there, but from phone calls and, hearing them speak, I knew that it was a serious thing. So, that took me back, and I could feel how they felt. The whole drama, and then getting to the hospital that is supposed to be like the saving zone, and then the hospital is just one kind. I was so upset with the arrangements. Like, it was just somehow. I'm like, why are hospitals this way? I think the book was saying it's a government hospital, and that's the hospital for emergency accidents, blah, 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 blah. But it was the service was bad. The nurse was rude. Oh my God. And then later on, we now see that her rudeness even has reason. That rudeness can even have reason. Like, it's just insane, And then we saw the drama that the family went through getting to the hospital, and then all the different obstacles that they had to face, from human being cause obstacles of like money and institution to obstacles of mindsets. It was just insane. And then getting to receive the breakfast of the century during that, like you would think that the universe would be kind to kings, and he would just, have a good day at least. There was no good day for my boy. He was really receiving it hot. It was crazy. I really hope that nobody ever goes through this, because you shouldn't get breakfast on the day that is not your best day. It was quite something. So I don't know. Not too much to learn, except that somebody will say fear women. I don't think that's what you should take from these two chapters. But let me hear you. What do you think? What did you? What was the chapter 8 and 9 for? What was it like for you when you were going through it? So show of hands. Anybody wants to say something? Anybody wants to say something? There we go, Derek. Hi,
How
Derek.
man? I just
I'm
have
good. I'm good.
I just have two words to say. Fear
Mm-mm.
women.
I
That's all.
literally said, go on. I done.
So
Drops mic.
two words now, two words. Fear women. But basically I read the chapter 6 and 7 and
Okay.
I saw the breakfast coming basically for Kingley because the babe was basically drifting apart from him and she was, doing her thing and he was doing his thing. Basically, they were already broken up. It's just that they never said it. So it was
Yeah.
just quite unfortunate that it was during the time his dad was having his crisis that she broke up. So that's why I was still saying fear women because I'm sure if it was the man would have been very, understanding that that's the wrong time to break up. So he will postpone the breakup to like 2 months later. But
Oh,
the
wow.
women, yeah, women,
They
bro,
don't
focus on yourself.
care. They don't
Focus
care.
on
They
yourself,
don't
man.
care.
Don't.
Wow. Damn. Thanks, my G. Thanks a lot. Thanks. I think I saw Ayotunde's hand. Ayotunde, I think your hand went up.
Yeah, my hand was up. So I think reading the book again just shows how our healthcare system has is
Failed us.
improved. Let's not say, but it just feels like it doesn't improve commensurate with technological advancements and with the things that have advanced or improved in the economy generally, right? I mean, if you think about the story of the doctor that just passed on a few days ago, right? You are wondering to yourself how on earth that happens to a medical doctor, let alone the patients, right? I also again just trying to empathize with Kingley, whether it's a real character or not. I did face something similar, right?
Oh, wow.
I went for a wedding on one fateful Saturday, and then I got back home. My spirit was not right. My mom said she had a headache in the morning. So I peeped into her room. I noticed she wasn't properly dressed, so I went back out. But I wasn't comfortable, right? She's of memory now, anyway. And then I told my sister to go and check in on her. Apparently, she had passed out, right?
Oh, wow.
So we had to rush, get neighbors that will help drive her to the hospital. So almost like Kingsley's story, literally. Got to the first hospital, they put her on the bed, nobody to attend to her, nothing to be done about it. They had to go somewhere else, had to beg some guy that had an ambulance, a government ambulance. The guy was hesitant, and the guy literally said, you know what, that even that he cannot scratch the car. I'm like, it's an ambulance, it's some emergency. I had to tell him that, you know what, if anything happens to the car, I will pay for it, or to the cost or whatever it is, I'll pay for it. Before he had some form of confidence. Then drove to the hospital close to the house and had to drive her to Lassus. Right. Got to Lassus, there was no bed, obviously. So it's just a whole barrage of, I mean, this was when was this? What year was this? About 2009. Right. And you think about the story and they put the context of the story, you'll be thinking the story is about 1980s, 1990s, right? And in 2009, we are still having, that kind of thing. I don't know how it is right now. Yeah, I guess that's my pet peeve. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Ayotunde. Sorry, give me a minute. Yeah. Sorry, my laptop died. I had to get my brother's too. Yeah. Ayotunde, you're saying something, but I can't hear you. You're muted. Okay. Yeah. So okay. Thank you so much, Ayotunde. I can relate. I can really, really relate. It's crazy that we're in, that our country is the way it is. It's insane reading through and seeing them ask for, like they were asking for a bed and then asking for mosquito nets and asking for fan and asking for everything. And I'm like, no, these guys have to be kidding me. Like, what's going on here? Why are you asking for everything that you should already have? I think that's just how it is. God will help us. It's insane. It's crazy. Anybody else wants to share? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Or should I pick names? I know there are some of you that have a lot to share, but you don't want to talk. You would like to be chosen. And I would choose you. I would choose you. I'll choose you today. Anybody wants to share? Jemima. Hello there. Hi, Jemima.
Hi, Miah.
Hi. What's your take?
On
fuel and fuel increase, in the country. Of course, on the book.
well, I started reading it late, so I'm still quite early on in the chapters. I'm not where everyone is. So should
wow.
I?
Yeah, but still on whatever has been said, I think you got the hang of it. So do you have something to say?
No, I don't really have anything to say on this.
Okay, I really appreciate your honesty. Thank you. We need more leaders like you.
Thank
in
you.
Nigeria. All right, so let me pick somebody
Vote
else.
me
Or
for
is anybody
president.
raising their hand? You want? Amen. It will happen. I think. All right. Just Ayo, you look like your hand is up. You just haven't pressed it. How far now?
Yo.
Is it you?
Add into this or join you and there's position.
I don't have
Because,
any position. Oh, please, don't cover me. Oh.
yeah, leave me
I beg.
it's really necessary.
Okay.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary. But yes, I'll just be brief in what I want to say. I mean, the healthcare system is I almost used a swear word now. What do you bring swear for me? The healthcare system is trash for lack of not being able to use swear words. That's a given.
You can
I'm
use
not
it
going to
too. We
talk
say
much.
you can't use it. It's just that you put some money
Okay,
in the swear jar. That's all.
I mean, there's not too much to say on that. I already mentioned the sad incident with the doctor that happened during the week. I mean, even inside an hospital for that matter. I mean, but it's just very sad. It's just very sad. The breakfast part of this whole thing. Yeah, I feel like breakfast is character development. Everybody will have to go through it. So whether it was his fault, whether it was her fault, whatever, everybody go chop and last. It will go round. Yeah, so I have no other comments. I mean, look at the observe. I sip my cold trees.
Wow. Just sorry, I didn't really hear you. All I heard was I didn't really hear you towards the end. I was changing hearing devices, but I heard you say that breakfast is character development. And well, I don't want to agree or disagree, but there's an element of truth in that that statement. In it that, all these very, very intelligent people that think they can be motivational speakers, or the people that actually are, talk about how that I remember seeing something on, was it on Instagram or YouTube, TEDx, I can't remember. And the person was talking about how that people that you meet in your life are either a blessing or a lesson or something like that, and basically talking about how the person is either in your life to make you better, to like enjoy life, get a better view on life, change your perspective about things, or to get you rigid, get you not trusting, get you knowing that, okay, this kind of person is not coming into my space again. And I could see that form in, Ola's relationship with Kingsley. Like, I could see the toxicity. It was as though like she wanted, but she didn't want, so she was a bit on the fence. It was not very, she was indecisive about what she wanted. Like Derry was saying, it's like those people that have broken up, but they don't want to break up. They're trying to still hold on to what they had, but they know that it's gone. They don't want to be the bad persons. I'm sure there are many of you like that on this call. That, in fact, I even know a friend that he would not break up. Well, I used to know a friend when I was in university. He would now start to act like a bad person, not like toxic or anything, but he would reduce the texting, reduce the calling. He would be acting out. He would just be somehow, he would become boring, and all just so that the girl can get tired. People do crazy things when they're in love or out of love. Anywho, any hands? My hand
is up, but I don't know you're not seeing it.
Wow, just I look at you go. Toxicity or toxicity. Tunde, are you saying something?
Yes, I said my hand was up. I don't know how you didn't see it, but let me
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry.
First of all, I wanted to speak to something. And it's a digression from the book, but I just want to talk about it and talk about something in the book, or ask a question. So, guys, you notice that there, Miah doesn't have slides, right? Book review is not necessary for slides; it's for conversations. You can have slides; it's fine. So that's the digression. Now, to my question: is money a motivator? Right. And this is in context of the book, right? Because it seemed like from the conversation in the book and the analogy or the description from Kingsley about what Ola, I don't know what her name is, right?
Ola.
Supposed to be Uibo, right? Was wearing. He mentioned a matching red, is he Dolce and Gabbana wristwatch? I don't know what brand it's again anyway, but he mentioned a few things like that, right? Again, for those that read the beginning of the book, there was conversation around when he first met her, how they were humble. It was about books. They got attracted to one another, planned marriage. Okay, Olana. Sorry. Jerry, maybe you pronounce it when I'm done. Anyway, so in context of that, is really a motivator for relationship in today's 21st or 22nd century boy and gay relationship, something. Thank you. That's my
All right, so who wants to answer that very, very profound question? Thank you, Ayotunde, for that, because that's one of the questions I even had written down. Who wants to answer that? I feel like Fanny might want to answer that question for some reason, because I see she's on the call. Hi, Timmy. Hi. Timmy, are you here? Okay, I'm sure it's network. So, Derry, please help us answer this question.
I expect you should take it from how it was answered. Just Ayo, Jemima, me. Take it like that.
Why must you like that?
Okay, it is a motivator. Yeah, hold on, let me reply this. Let me try to
Just prep yourself.
So it is a motivator, right? Because most times when you actually want to go into a relationship and the money is not there, you see one party saying, "Oh no, we can do without it, we can do without it." But at the end of the day, it it turns out to be money will play a role in your happiness. Like there's a song that this guy sang, Dave. He said the question would ask was, does money buy happiness? He said no, money does not buy happiness, but money buys things that make you happy. Because you can't basically go to a store and go and buy happiness. You actually buy wristwatches, clothes to actually get you happy. And that is how I see money playing a factor in relationships. Because um in all seriousness, like for myself as an example, like I've not been in a relationship for in a while because of the money factor, right? Because I don't want to stress anybody's daughter. And um holding back on that angle, over time, over the years, I've come across people saying that, oh no, we can do this without the money. And I paint a picture of when the money is not there, how it will play out. And they see that, oh yeah, money actually has to play a huge role in actually making us happy to get. And it's not rocket science, it is just facts. And if and maybe I start to be corrected. There are some ladies out there, some guys out there that believe money is not a factor, but it just comes in at a point in your relationship that it affects you. It affects your happiness, it affects how you see the other person, and you start maybe being disrespectful or just drifting apart because you're not happy. You can't afford something that makes you happy, and that's it. Sha. Welcome to my TED
Wow,
talk.
thank you, Jerry. Like the very wise man said, love sweet, but money will make them sweeter. I know that we have sentiments about how that love should be. I was reading Ayatunde's comment about how we should not forget that there's also the building together conversation. And yes, true. I don't think money should be a prerequisite, but I'm not a love guru or a relationship coach or anything. I think that love should help grow the relationship, but money should be that um, thing that both parties bring to help their needs be met. That's all. I don't think money is such a big deal. I think that money is necessary to achieve stuff. And if what you want to achieve, you can't achieve it, you will have problem. I know that there are women and men, because it's not just women. There are women and men who money is a major priority, especially in a relationship. A rich guy would not want to marry a girl or date a girl that is not his class. And it's because he doesn't want to become a trust fund or a philanthropist for the girl's family. And then there are rich girls that don't mind because they have enough wealth. One of the questions I was going to ask was about why is it easy to be humble when you're poor? But it's a bit difficult to be humble with money. And the true humility is, when you actually have, but you don't show it. And I picked this question from when Kingsley's mom and Kingsley were in that fix with the nurse, and she was talking about the getting the things, but then she didn't want him to stress because the nurse is there to help. They've not paid the money yet, so they're still there on trust, hoping that they will pay the next day. So money has its role that it plays. Love will not get hospital bills paid. That's the truth. It will not buy NEPA. It will not. The worst love can do is give you a date with good food and maybe a house to sleep in for a while until the guy or the girl gets tired of you. So, but like Ayatunde was asking, is it a prerequisite, or in a relationship, should it be based on money? And it's a very important question because it shapes whether or not you enter a relationship with the right mindset. Hi, Ayatunde. I can see your hand. Please speak.
I can't remember what I wanted to say, honestly, but I guess the money conversation is tricky. While I understand that money is a major factor, but if you look at, the story we had last week at Feel Good Friday, right? That just Aya told us, expansion about was it last Friday or the Friday before the last, about the Yahoo guy that said he loved his girlfriend but he didn't want to kill her, right? I am sure he would have been threatened 1,000,001 times. I'm sure he would have beat her 1,000,001 times or told her he loved her again, right? And like just like I say, rather, somebody can buy me, but rather cry the Benz than inside the downfall, right? And I don't want to give like people as example. But someone has mentioned, how happy do you think Chioma is right now in her marriage with Udo, right? Again, I'm not saying money was the motivation that got her to marry him, right? But I'm just saying in the grander context of things, right? Why you consider money? Because money, you definitely need money to pay bills. You definitely need money to pay bills, right? But should money be that factor? Again, in the context of the book, and this is the last thing I'll say, apologies, is that she was wearing all these things, but she was being controlled by one other. In fact,
what did you even call her?
Yeah, exactly. I had to Google those words to find out the meaning of those things, right? But they're not very, very nice things. One sounded like Ancient of Days, or like before Adam was created, like an ape or something, right? So it seemed like money was all her motivation to leaving Kingley for presumably another guy.
Well, yeah, shine your eyes, and shine your heart, and shine your brain. People have been through crazy things, and they think that, I don't know who else. Let me just leave. Let me exit this other Zoom. I plan to share my screen, but the thing is not sharing. So, I don't know who I was speaking with, but we were talking about how that, of all the money in the world, actually, you'll be happy with who you'll be happy with. That's the truth. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it puts you in places where you can receive happiness. But it's not usually enough, because when you start to now see
maybe an Augustina.
Yeah, no, I can see them. Because when you now start to see Wala, you will take. Hi, Augustina. Hello.
Hi,
Augustina.
good morning, Miah.
Hi, good morning, Augustina.
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah, so I think mine is more of a question, and it's about this conversation of money, whether it's needed to be in a relationship. So I think money is important. Of course, money is very important. Like, you need money to do everything. But my question is, when we talk about needing money, why is it always like as if it's the guy that needs to have the money? Like, the guy needs to have money for the relationship to work. I think if we are talking about needing money, it should be, do we need money? Yes, we do. So it's a matter of you and I, the girl and the guy, having money to run their show. So why is the conversation always tilted towards the guy? Is it that women can make money? It's a question.
Anybody wants to respond to that? Okay, so let me just say, then I would take maybe. So I personally think that there's a narrative, and the narrative is about how that men are the providers. So let me backtrack a lot to the Bible for those of us that are Christians, and I'm sure everybody can relate. So God created the Garden of Eden. He put everything there, and then he made Adam. Then, after he made Eve, now Eve had the provision of everything that she could ask for or need. So Adam was not in any pressure to provide for Eve per se, because provision was already there. Now, that is a narrative that has shaped that men should already be in the scene with stuff. And then the woman joins, and then she has a comfortable life. Now, that narrative has received a lot of shape shifts from that time till now, and it has translated into the man being the major provider, which is not an issue. But then the question is that when does the woman provide? And so I understand your question, And my thought on that is, I believe that both parties are the providers in a relationship. However, if it's not for ego or to say head of the home, I'm the head of the home, I believe that there's higher responsibilities on the man to bring provisions to the home. But every relationship is not the same. Relationships are peculiar. In the case where the woman earns more, it's not too much of an ask for the woman to bring her bits. It's a requirement that both parties make sure the relationship works. And the world does not have to know that she's the provider. Anybody else wants to say something? Anybody wants to say something?
Hi,
Larry.
my hand is
Oh,
up.
great.
I'm
Great.
not sure why I'm not saying today, but I'm not saying anything really. I want to nominate. I actually can't speak for too long where I am. I want to nominate Tomison to speak to this because we had a conversation about something similar on maybe Thursday, and the senior married man really schooled me around money, relationship. So maybe Tomison should speak. I'm calling him out. I hope you can hear this.
All right, Tomison. I think Tomison, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Baba, how you doing?
Hi, guys. Good morning. Okay, so what exactly is the question? I'm not sure I got the question.
Okay, so I think Augustina, let me just do a recap. Augustina was asking about provision, that there's a concept that men must provide. So the question is, why is it shifted on men alone or something? Why are men the providers? Why can't a woman provide? Abi Augustina,
Okay.
that's it now.
Okay, so I think in our own context of the climates that we live in, right, or geographical location that we are in, well, it's not mandatory that men provide, but then it's just what has always been, right, from time that men should provide, because financially you are expected to be the what's it called, the breadwinner. Yeah, the breadwinner. And being the breadwinner is not by the title, it's by the actions, and the actions being the provider, right? For example, you shouldn't be thinking or negotiating whether you should pay the rent or your wife should pay the rent, right? Or you should buy the groceries or pay the school fees, right? These are very non-negotiable tasks that you had initially put upon yourself while trying to get married, right? However, it's not a bad thing or a bad idea if the woman or the wife supports, right, in various areas that she can, right? Because if you recall, when you were going to prostrate to seek a hand in marriage or whatever type of traditional rights that you went through, I'm sure if for those that are married would remember clearly that you said you were doing it to take care of their daughter, right? And taking care of their daughter is not giving their daughter, responsibilities like for her to handle. Rather, is for her to be your support system, which is another reason why marriage counseling classes always help, to dissect the matter better. You can't avoid finances in marriage conversations. It's very vital. I know it was a breaker for many of my friends that were trying to get married in our counseling class back then. I know of 3 people that they called it quits when it got to the financial conversation part, because they were not open enough, they were not honest with themselves. So somebody declaring that this is how much I earn, and then the other person saying, oh, so it was just all fake fantasy lifestyle you were giving me, and then when reality hit them, they realized that they were both not compatible because somebody else had other plans of going to Bahamas and all that, or somebody else money, right? So when you're not open enough, or you're not being financial, because okay, so the point I made, sorry to drag this a bit more, the point I made to Larry at the office was that the financial part of conversation in marriage is where the true nakedness is. That's where the ego of men are. That's where the ego of men lie. When your financial status is not properly declared or open to your spouse, then you're just, you're faking it for the person you choose to spend the rest of your life with. And if you're not being open and honest with that person, then you're not a straightforward person. Yeah, so I think I'll drop my mic here. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Tomisin. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tomisin. A lot to unpack from that. God, a reasonable woman will support you. A wise and understanding woman will support you. That thing called building together that Ayotunde was talking about. If you don't marry somebody that has your interests at that, is while you would struggle, and at some point the money won't be enough because there will be somebody else with more money. So just look for somebody reasonable, and just be able to provide what you guys need and a few of the extras. And I'm sure that as you guys build, you will be able to live in the Bahamas. Maybe your hand is up. Maybe he's not here. I have a question that I want to ask. Sucks that I couldn't share the screen.
Can you guys hear me?
Hi, maybe yes, we can hear you. Well, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I can hear you.
It's actually the money and relationship. I in this question I wanted to answer, but before I go into that, why is it that men are seen as the ones that have to have money? For me, I feel naturally, like, forget about money. Like, let's go back to our should I call it primitive age? Men have this, like, naturally we tend to be more muscular. We can do more work than a woman. Like, an average man can do more work, like physical work, than a woman. And let's like go back to how, like, for instance, if there are 10 men and 10 women on an island without internet, without whatever, you find out that the men will naturally be the ones to go and try to break down the trees and build the house and try to catch the animal for everybody to eat. You don't expect, I would not expect a woman to go and be running inside the bush to go and look for bush rats for me to eat. Like, it's natural. It's just natural. The truth is that I support gender equality. In my house, in my family, my mom was the one who paid my school fees from my first. I don't know where I started from, whether it's kindergarten or I don't know where I started from, Sha. The first one till when I graduated from university, she paid everything. And my dad was the one who provides food. It's very, very weird. He's the one that goes to the market. He's the one that cooks. 98% of the food that I ate in my life was made by my dad. So now that doesn't mean that my dad is less of a man or my mom is more of a woman. And that's what I'm trying to make people understand. Naturally, the society, naturally, our human nature will put men in the workforce and women in how would I put it? In I don't know the word to use, but I understand what you guys are.
Home force.
Not really home force. I don't want to use the word home force. It's just like, for instance, you have 10 strong men and 10 not that strong men, you will likely choose the 10 strong men to go and fight war, and the other 10 men to do something else that doesn't really have much force. You understand? That is why I just want to then
Okay, so
let
what
me
you're
now go
saying,
to where
so what you're saying basically is that roles can be defined, not really about what is the general perception or the norm. Roles can be defined in the relationship by the people in the relationship. Yeah.
yes, normally, yes, that's what I'm saying. But the norms are there. We can't dispute
Mm.
that fact. Someone who is strong, and the one that is not strong, even if you can build yourself to that point, but there are some people who are born naturally strong. You get what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah.
for the money as a need in relationship, I feel we make mistakes even in our lives. Forget about relationship. We feel money is what we need in our lives, but
Mm.
that's not really what we need. What we need is what will give us money. I don't know whether you get what I'm trying to say. I don't
Mm.
just want to have money. I don't just want to be seeing 10 in my account every month. It gets to a point where it doesn't make sense. Then that's where you see people that are rich and they will say it's just being an hypocrite. People that are rich, they will say something like money doesn't give you happiness. And they will be like, just shut up your mouth. Let me reach that position and see that I'm not, how would I put it? That money, I say that money does not give me happiness. But it's the truth. Money on its own can't save your relationship. Money, no matter how much you have of a billions. I have seen my uncles that are into politics. I don't want to start calling the exact names. If I call some of their names, you guys will know them. The man and the woman don't look at themselves. They don't sleep in the same room. They don't even stay in the same house. They are just husband and wife, for let it not be like this big man has divorced his wife. You understand what I'm trying to say? But they have money. They have what to buy 10 houses today. They will buy it. So that is the mistake that we make. We feel that is it. That is it. If it is there, there will be happiness. We can now bring happiness. The truth is that if you cannot be happy without money, you can't be happy with money. It's not a swear. It's not a. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like forget
Wow.
about
Thank you,
relationship.
Mimi. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you
You
so
can't
much
make
for
yourself
those very
happy
net
without money.
network.
Okay, the
Thank you so
network is
much,
bad.
Mimi.
Okay.
Thank you, maybe that those were such insightful words. Like I was saying, if we spend all day talking about this, we would not even be done. Um, but basically, if I'm going to summarize, I would say that um, let each relationship draw the lines or create the rule book for how theirs should work. And they should not be looking at how someone else's own is working because honestly, it would make them never be happy, like maybe was saying. If there's money, be happy. If there's no money, just make sure you have enough to live and enjoy your life in the little that you have. Don't use Oju Kokoro and spoil your little shot at happiness. I wanted to ask a question about cooking and eating out. What do we think about cooking and eating out? Just I um what's your take on cooking and eating out? Because I read in the book, I think it was in maybe the chapter 8 or 9, about how that's the Igbo man's culture. He must eat at home. When he starts to eat outside, that's when you know that he's already shifting out of the relationship. So what's your take on cooking and eating out?
Yeah, hi Maya.
Amen.
So this is kind of, I mean, we're just talking about it a bit in the comment section. When Babs mentioned that some of us as per men don't like cooking, and Larry asked him that
Oh,
how would he
I
feel
just saw
if
it now.
his wife too she doesn't like cooking, and Babs too said, so I'm kind of in line with Babs. Like,
Mm.
I mean, where me I stand is that if you can't cook or your partner can't cook, of course you should have known already when you're doing talking stage. If you're both fine
You
with it,
get
and you can hire a chef, hire a
yeah.
chef. if you are a chef, go and be buying food outside. Like, you can't be expecting or forcing your partner to cook for you just because you can't cook and fend for yourself. What's worse, me when they go in an in-law house, go they carry food from there. Like, if I eat outside and because nobody can cook at home, it shouldn't cause any problem. In fact, you should even buy food for your partner that you're eating outside. Sure you get. So I don't know. That kitchen thing for me doesn't make sense.
So I really agree with you. Just and those are the thoughts in my mind. People really, really take this cooking thing very, very seriously. And I think that even before you got into the relationship, you should have known whether the person can cook or not. You should have known if it's stress, because it is not love to stress your wife. It's really not. And it's not love to stress your husband. If you had already known from time that these people don't enjoy the kitchen, and then you try to make them kitchen people when you think that maybe when you marry them, you make them kitchen people, that's unfair. It's borderline terrorist. So I believe that, like I said earlier, you guys draw up the rule book of your relationship. You are the ones in charge of it. You decide whether this would happen or that will happen. Personally, it would be nice to marry somebody that can cook, personally. But I can cook, and I'm not even saying it to brag. I can really cook. I don't have an issue with if she cannot cook. And it is important to know if she can or can't, and if she can, but she doesn't enjoy it. So that on the days when you're really tired, you can get takeout when you're coming back from work and get takeout for her. It's that simple. Afo, I greet you. Do you have something to say about this cooking thing before I take dairy?
Hi there. Sorry, I wanted to call you there, but hi, Miah. Yeah, good morning. Once again. Lovely session here. So to me, cooking is a thing that in my own house, while we were growing up, we get to a certain age, I think 12, they started teaching us, like the men in the house, that you live alone one day, so you don't need to depend like on a lady to cook for you. Let me just tell the truth here. One of my side also is cooking. I do that a lot. Like during COVID, I can count like the money I made from that. So cooking to me it's not a problem. I can get married to someone that I don't have to cook. I can, like, if you don't have to cook, it's not a problem. Even if you are married, I'll still be the one. If your food is not sweet, I will not eat it. I don't want to know all these love things that people will say no. I would rather not eat it. So it's better for me to just do it. Let me just do it. There was a time that one of my girlfriends I was serving one time was staying with me. I do the cooking, all those, I do that. But the things that I don't like doing, I can put the clothes inside the washing machine and forget it there. I do that a lot. I do that. So all those petty chores, me, I do not like it though. But when it comes to like, oh, we are hungry, and there's everything inside the freezer and the stuff to use is there. Sharp, food will be ready. Not just anyhow food though. Meal, confirmed meal that you eat and you be like, nah. So that's me. That's my own 2 cents about the cooking thinking.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Afo. Tomisin, that is really wise. That is such a wise thing. Yes, if she can cook, she's a keeper. If she can't, she has you to teach her. Oh, Tomisin, I'm sending you gems. Not Jemima, like actual gems. There, yes. Let's hear you.
So the cooking bit is.
You want to fight?
So the cooking bit is I don't know. So I grew up in a household where we eat nice food and good food, and it's from my mom most of the time to get. And like Lola said, what works for couple A may not work for couple B, right? So I'm not even trying to impose whatever I say on anybody, but personally, I would love my wife to be able to cook for me. I can cook as well, though. It's not that I can cook. I can cook as well. But I would love for her to actually be able to cook for me. And like Afolabi said, if food is not sweet, I'm not going to eat it. I'll tell you it's not sweet. I can't eat it. I can't put it in my mouth. It can't enter my throat because it has to be good. So you know, I marrying a wife, one of the criteria is that she needs to know how to cook. It's not a must that she must be in the kitchen 24/7, but at least let it be in your resume that you can cook, just so that the children too can eat from it. Like I wouldn't want a maid to be, a maid to come and cooking for us and everything. I too, let me before anybody attacks me, I can cook too. I will enter kitchen too. But at the same time, my wife should be able to know how to cook. It's a criteria for a imagine so over watch movies where they say Eka taking to come cook for Oga. Oga is in Eka takes food, the thing needs with Oga. Next thing Oga say, waiting Eka take get way sweet. Oga go and taste it. Sometimes it happens for real. But at the same time, you get the wife should be able to know how to cook, as well as the husband should be able to know how to cook, so that anybody can complement the other and the household is moving smoothly. Because the children too need to eat good food. They can't be eating water rice every time. Don't eat Sunday food.
True.
You get so I mean, basically, I'm couple A, so you may be couple B. It may not work for you. Please don't attack me.
Yeah.
That's my
Thank you, Darren. Thank you so much. I know some people will be thinking that cooking is synonymous to a woman as, fixing things in the house is synonymous to a man. That's not true. There are many men that can't fix nothing. If the chest spoils, that's it. You'll call carpenter. If your water gets clogged, parent, and there's nothing that the man would. So I think it also applies that if you really want a wife that can cook, you get a wife that can cook. That's really how it works. But if you're too in love, the love is blinding your eyes. You can't see because love is blind. Then, like our dear Shifu just said, thank you so much, Shifu Thomason, the barrister. You can teach her to cook. It's not that difficult. If you could learn it, someone else can learn it. There are no more hands on this topic, so I'm just going to ask one more question, and then I think we'll be done with this session. This question is about friends and friendships in relationships. And so my question is, oh my God, I really wish that I could share these slides with you guys because they were top notch, top notch. So my question is, what is the role? That's not how I wrote it too. So let me look for it. The particular slide. Yes. What is the role of voices in a relationship, especially a romantic relationship? How much power do you give your friends to influence your relationship decisions? And this question came out of wow. Yeah, I feel like eating pancakes. This question came out of the small meet and greet that Kingsley and Ola had, where there was that I can't remember the word. I really wish I could remember the word that Kingsley was calling that her backup artist, the girl that accompanied Ola to the parlor. But yeah, we could see how Ola wasn't exactly the one making the decisions. We could see that she was getting nudged, pushed, or spoken to, spoken for. So my question is, what is the role of voices in a relationship, especially a romantic relationship? How much power do you give your friends to influence your relationship decisions? Do I have a hand? 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 Sydney, are you here? I don't know why Sophie has been quiet all morning. Sydney, are you here?
Hi, Miah. Good morning. You are in a relationship with the person, not those people. So you'd obviously listen to advice, but take it with a pinch of salt. And yeah, with common sense, you should be able to find a balance.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for that, Sydney. Lola, I can see your hand. It's just that it's not raised, but I can see it. Do you want to speak to this? What is the role of voices in a romantic relationship? How much power do you give your friends to influence your relationship decisions?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to lie, let everybody do what they like.
Yes, thank you.
Back to what people were saying, if me, I drop the Islamic position on cooking and providing, this place will scatter. But I just want to say that for all you young men who have been triggered by this money and cooking conversation, so sorry, dears. It is well. Take care.
Oh, wow. Okay. But so now about the the question, what do you think about friends influencing relationship decisions?
I mean, anybody that cares about you would tell you, I mean, they wouldn't hide how they feel about what's going on with you, whether they're friends or their parents. So it's now you as the person that is going to now make the ultimate decision. But you should definitely listen to someone that you know cares about you and loves you, right? For example, if you're in if your friend is in an abusive marriage, you should have the responsibility as a friend to say, hey, I think there's something wrong here. And if that friend can really listen to people that love them, then it should influence them. That's what I'm saying. I don't think there should be zero disregard for what friends have to say. But like I said, ultimately it's up to you. So all the best.
Thank you so much for that, Lola. Thank you. Looking at the two scenarios that played out, I can see foolishness around Ola's sphere, and there's so much wisdom in Kingsley's sphere. Now, Ola is taking the foolishness, and Kingsley is not really taking the wisdom. I'm talking about the two scenarios: the breakfast scenario where the demigant, the very overbearing friend of and spiteful friend of Ola, was speaking for her harshly with contempt and propelling her like a puppet. I could see that play out, and I could see how Ola responded to that foolishness and decided to go with that. And I just saw the pricelessness of Kingsley's mom and how she was really trying to be there for him. And like Lola was saying now, like Sophia was saying, I could see how he was neglecting and rejecting the wisdom that was coming from his mom, who he knows actually cares for him. So I think maybe Ola's love dust that already washed away because her own love could now see, but my guy's love was still blind. Tomisin, do you want to speak to this? I'm loving the wisdom oozing out of you this morning. What do you think about voices? Because I think it's a very important thing that we need to think about. When you leave your babe, you don't know what she's hearing, where she's going. So what do you think about it? Does she have to vet her friends? Do you have to vet her friends? What do you think is the role of voices?
Now don't want me to barista bars now. Wow. Okay. Let me just drop my own personal 2 cents. I think along the wayside, when you eventually toil that journey of marriage, there are some friends that naturally drop off, right? You don't intend to, leave them, but the kind of lifestyle, that you live, they would naturally just feel like, this one has left our league, right? And you get to even meet some other people that would encourage your journey to be better, right? So those are the kind of people that you mostly seek advice from, especially when it comes to conversations around marriage, right? People that have the experience and seem to have told the journey for a longer time, and can contribute to, because every marriage is different, right? It doesn't necessarily mean you can't pick one or two things to learn from the other person. And the same way with relationships, but the reality of it is, the marriage part. So it depends on how you choose to. Yeah.
Wow, that is very insightful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for contributing. Thank you so much for making the session a little bit lively. I hope we took the take homes. Let's remember what is important. No beefs, no sexisms. Everybody just airing what they think is right. Thank you, Aratunde, for the opportunity.
All right, thank you.
Miah out.
It's been an interesting session. Sophia, please go and harass them on the WhatsApp group. We will answer you. All right, thank you, everyone. It's been a wonderful session of marital counseling in some way. See you next week. I'll see you in the evening for Feel Good Friday. We have Anyike, and you join us. He's going to demonstrate for us at Feel Good Friday today. Peace out, people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Miah.
Thank you. Thank you, Sophia. Bye, everybody.